A family gathering, where those who share my bloodline flaunted their designer clothes and million-dollar watches sparkling on their wrists. And me, just a simple coat, a few cheap pieces of jewelry, and a pair of eyes that saw through everything. For 10 years, they mocked me, called me a failure, and looked down on the struggles I endured. But while they were busy chasing appearances and hollow reputations, I was quietly building my empire in the shadows. And tonight I return. Not to boast, but to make them kneel before a truth they never saw coming. Before we dive into today's dramatic and unexpected story, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming stories. And leave a comment to let us know where you're watching from. Now let's jump right into this bitter, calculating tale filled with shocking twists that will leave everyone speechless. My name is Clara Thornton, and I am 35 years old. I stand in the grand foyer of my grandmother's estate, Willow Crest, a Georgian masterpiece that holds 4 acres of well-kept gardens and memories that both comfort and hurt me. The annual Thornton Family Summit, which my grandmother Beatrice started as a bonding ritual, now pulses with the ostentatious display of wealth. My cousins dressed in couture and flashing timepieces fit for a king glance at my tailored but unbranded blazer, and the only jewelry I wear is my mother's modest pearl earrings. Their whispers, as sharp as the edge of winter, make fun of my modest life, not realizing that my leather satchel lying quietly by my side contains secrets that could shatter their gilded assumptions. My heart, a drum of resolve and buried grief, beats with the legacy Beatrice entrusted to me, a legacy not of flash but of foresight. And as I enter this den of ambition, I promise to uphold her vision even as their contempt threatens to tear me apart. Willow Crest, with its white columns and brick warmed by a century of New England sun, has been the Thornton stronghold since my great-grandfather Elias Thornton turned a modest inheritance into a real estate empire during the 1920s post-war boom. By the time Beatrice, my grandmother, assumed the helm in the 1970s, the Thornton name was a beacon of luxury properties from Boston to Cape Cod. Unlike her brothers who chased status with lavish estates and socialite wives, Beatrice wove wealth with purpose, her investments quiet but enduring. My father Henry, her youngest, inherited her pragmatism, choosing love over lineage when he married my mother Eleanor, a librarian with no fortune to her name. Their union sparked outrage among the Thorntons, who saw it as a dilution of their prestige. Henry, an architect crafting homes for joy rather than display, and Eleanor, who cherished books over banquets, raised me in a modest Concord suburb, teaching me that wealth was a tool, not a crown. Their lessons rooted deep, shaping a girl who saw value in substance over shine. When I was 16, a car accident stole them both, their station wagon crumpling on a rain-slicked road returning from a Vermont getaway. The loss was a thunderclap, splitting my world into before and after. Beatrice, then 70, welcomed me into Willow Crest, her study a sanctuary where we pored over photo albums and property ledgers under lamplight. Clara, she'd say, her voice a steady river. Most Thorntons have forgotten wealth's true purpose. They flaunt it like a peacock's tail, but real wealth is invisible security, opportunity, the power to shape a better world. Over 2 years, she schooled me in finance market trends and the art of patience, showing me how to spot undervalued gems in neglected neighborhoods. Her brother's children, my cousins Julian, Sophia, Miles, Emma, and Lucas, grew up in a different world. Their 16th birthdays marked by Porsches and Rolexes, their summers spent on European yachts, while I drove my parents' aging Subaru, worked cafe shifts, and invested every spare dollar. Beatrice's death during my final year at Dartmouth left us each a $100,000 inheritance. My cousins squandered theirs on penthouses and Paris soirees, Lucas even buying a speedboat he abandoned after 1 season. I, guided by Beatrice's wisdom, lived frugally in a studio apartment, funneling my funds into small properties in emerging Boston districts. The Thornton Summit, once Beatrice's vision of unity, morphed under my uncle Victor, the family patriarch, after my grandfather's passing, into a stage for preening. Each year, cousins boasted of their latest acquisitions, villas in Tuscany, hedge fund triumphs, while I, in my thrift store blazer, offered vague updates on my consulting work, enduring their pitying smiles. By 30, my portfolio, hidden behind anonymous LLCs, crafted with Beatrice's attorney, Mr. Caldwell, included 10 residential properties and 2 commercial buildings, their value climbing silently. Last year, I learned the upscale Seaside Towers home to Sophia Lucas, and 2 other Thorntons was for sale, its owner seeking a discreet buyer. Through a layered holding company, I acquired it for $25 million, nearly all my liquid assets making subtle upgrades, an eco-friendly HVAC, a revamped lobby while keeping my ownership veiled. I raised rents modestly still below market to fund improvements, yet my cousins grumbled, unaware their mysterious landlord was the cousin they mocked. This year's summit, which is scheduled for a cool October weekend, carries a heavier burden. Emma, the only warm-hearted cousin, informed me that Victor intends to sell Willow Crest Beatrice's heart to developers for opulent condos. The news cuts through the nostalgia of my adolescent haven. I arrive early on Friday, my Subaru, a modest speck among Julian's Ferrari, Sophia's Tesla, and Victor's Rolls-Royce. The circular drive gleams with their opulence, my car a purposeful contrast. I smooth my blazer and check my reflection in the rearview mirror. No makeup, hair pulled back, a woman who doesn't need any adornment to stand tall. Martha, the housekeeper, who has worked for the Thorntons for 40 years, greets me with a hug, and her lavender scent combined with the polish is soothing. She whispers, "Miss Clara, you're the image of Beatrice." She says, her eyes kind. Victor has been rearranging the schedule, meeting with lawyers since dawn, confirming my fears about the sale. Martha leads me to my old room, untouched since my teens. Soft green walls, a window seat overlooking Beatrice's rose garden, the bookshelf holding my finance texts, and a faded photo of my parents at a Cape Cod clam bake. As I unpack, Emma knocks. Her cashmere sweater and diamond studs are a quiet nod to Thornton excess, yet her smile is genuine. "Clara, I heard your car," she says, settling on my bed. Victor's pushing to sell Willow Crest. He's got the votes lined up, says it's about unlocking value. But Beatrice would have hated this. My stomach twists. The mansion is not just a home, but a symbol of Beatrice's ethos. He's calling for a 3-day summit, not 2. Emma adds, "Property talks tomorrow, finances, Sunday, vote Monday. Developers are pitching condos. The betrayal stings Victor's plan, a desecration of Beatrice's dream." I nod, my voice low. "I'll fight it, Emma." She squeezes my hand. "I'm with you, but it'll be brutal." Sophia's already joking about the poor cousin showing up. With Victor at the head where Beatrice used to sit, his Bordeaux swirling as he boasts of a Miami high-rise sold out before construction, and his sister Aunt Evelyn boasting of her gala raising $200,000. The dinner takes place in the crystal-lit dining room. His son Julian smirks and says, "What's the ride these days, Clara? Is that Subaru still there?" His Maserati keys shine on the table. "Runs like a dream." I respond while drinking water. Victor's wife, Aunt Lydia, clucks, "Dear, if Victor mentored you, you could trade up. Live a little." Their familiar chorus pokes at old wounds, but I smile, my satchel by my chair, holding truths they cannot comprehend. After dinner, I wandered to Beatrice's rose garden, its blooms silvered by moonlight. The air carries her voice, urging patience. My resolve hardens. I'm not just fighting for a house, but for the Thornton soul Beatrice believed in. Tomorrow their summit begins, and with it my quiet rebellion. The dawn spills golden threads across Willow Crest's rose garden, where I linger, my heart a drum, echoing Beatrice's lessons, each petal a whisper of her wisdom, urging me to guard her legacy against the storm of my family's greed. Victor's ambition now uses the Thornton summit as a stage, and his plan to sell this sacred ground for condos represents a betrayal that goes deeper than their years of contempt. My satchel filled with secret deeds, valuations, the truth of my empire rests in my room, a hidden flame ready to burn through their lies. Entering the grand drawing room, my cousins mock my simple blouse with their designer clothes and glittering watches, their eyes piercing with pity, unaware that my spirit, like a river carving stone, grows stronger with every whispered slight. I prepare for the battle of the day, knowing that their arrogance blinds them to the power I wield. A power forged in Beatrice's quiet teachings, ready to challenge the tempest they've unleashed. The drawing room, which used to be a place where Beatrice would share stories about our family's ascent, is now ablaze with Victor's vision. Architectural drawings of sleek condos have replaced her treasured portraits, their glass and steel, a cold mockery of Willow Crest's warm brick. Victor stands at a projector, his Italian loafers pacing, and he declares, his voice ablade. The Thornton name is currency. He says, his gaze flicking to me with a fleeting dismissal as he reveals his plans sell Willow Crest for $45 million. It's 5 acres prime for luxury towers. My cousins nod. Julian smirk sharp as he polishes his Rolex Sophia's manicured nails, tapping her tablet, their agreement a chorus of entitlement. My stomach turns. The mansion's rosewood banisters carved by Elias Thornton, a sacred thread to our past, are now set to be demolished, and Emma standing next to me whispers, "This is wrong, Clara." Beatrice would weep. Emma beside me whispers, "This is wrong, Clara." Beatrice would weep. Her words, a gentle breeze, steady my resolve. Victor's presentation builds to crescendos, and Crestview developers' brochures are circulating with glossy pages, promising rooftop pools and marble lobbies. The return will elevate our family's standing, he boasts, his Bentley keys glinting. Aunt Evelyn chimes, "It's time to modernize, Clara. You must see sentiment can't trump profit." Julian leans forward, saying, "Clara, you lived here once, sure, but nostalgia's no investment strategy." His laugh echoed by Miles, and Sophia is a lash, their assumption that my modest life reflects failure, a wound they can easily wield. I respond, my voice steady. Beatrice taught me value lies in legacy, not just profit. This house is our anchor. Victor's eyes narrow. Legacy's fine, Clara, but markets move. $45 million speaks louder than memories. The room hums with agreement. My 2% vote shares a whisper against their roar. The dining room lunch, the prism-casting crystal chandeliers, and Sophia's champagne-drinking wine over the new security system at Seaside Towers. Can you picture contractors at 9, Clara? And that guest policy registering my chef. Lucas nods. I suppress a smile as I realize that I ordered those upgrades following a break-in and that their complaints were unappreciative of the value I had added. Victor sipping scotch muses. The tower's owner, some shadowy LLC, needs pressure. My city contacts can stall their permits. His casual corruption and plan to intimidate me, their landlord, stoke my ire. I sip water with my face covered. What kind of pressure? Zoning difficulties code reviews, nothing personal, just business. I ask, pretending to be innocent. Julian chuckles. Clara wouldn't understand it. She's still renting that shoebox, right? Their derision blazes like a wildfire on the table, but my soul, like a river, remains unfazed. I flee to Beatrice's garden, its roses a salve against their venom. My parents' deaths, the accident screams still haunting my dreams, leaving me an orphan under these eaves. Beatrice's lessons, my lifeline. Now her mansion faces the same erasure they've tried on me, calling me the poor cousin, while I built an empire of 12 properties, $60 million in assets hidden behind Caldwell's LLCs. Her voice, a steady root, grounds me as I get ready for tomorrow's financial reviews, where Victor will flaunt their wealth, my modest updates a purposeful veil. Emma finds me, her eyes soft, and she says, "They're planning to rewrite Beatrice's will, Clara. More power to Victor. It's vile." My heart lurches, their greed a desecration. "I'll stop them." I swear, my voice low, her nod a spark of alliance. Back in my room, I open my satchel and spread out documents, the title of Seaside Towers, the growth of my portfolio, and a letter from Beatrice written before she passed away, saying, "Clara, guard our heart. They'll forget, but you won't." Tears blur her script, her trust aflame in my chest, and I call Caldwell, his voice warm. "Victor's moves are bold. Clara, but your holdings are secure. The Towers LLCs are ironclad." I exhale. They're targeting the mansion and the towers. I need everything ready for Monday. He laughs. "Beatrice would be proud. You're her true heir." His words, a gentle wind, lift my heart, and I arrange my files, each page a stone in my fortress. The summit's second day will test me, their pity a blade, but my truth a river, carving deeper weights to break their stone. Sophia smirks as Victor toasts Thornton progress at dinner. his eyes sweeping over me, and Aunt Lydia's sugary voice says, "Clara, a mentor could raise you from that modest flat. Maybe a rich spouse, Clara. My empire built in shadows is no accident, but a testament to her teachings. Tomorrow I'll face their charts and boast my modest life, a mask they'll soon see through. Their laughter a cold current tries to drown me, but I smile my satchel under the table, its secrets a drumbeat. I slip away early, the moonlight in the garden, my refuge, Beatrice's roses, whisper courage my spirit, a river surging. Senses the storm's peak, ready to wield. Beatrice's flame against their tempest. The morning air hums with the pulse of willow crest, its ancient oaks standing like elders bearing witness my heart. A cedar drum its rhythm fierce as I clutch my satchel. A vessel of secrets now sharpened into a weapon of truth. Yesterday's wounds, Victor's betrayal, my cousin's venomous barbs linger like frost on my spirit. But Beatrice's flame, her letter's sacred call to guard the Thornton heart, burns brighter, urging me to carve a path. The second day of the summit dawns a battlefield, where my family's gilded masts will crack under my simple skirt. A quiet defiance against their opulence, their whispers of my poverty. A blind wind, unaware that my river relentless has etched a truth deep enough to topple their stone tower of lies. As I enter the library, my resolve a soaring hawk, I feel the storm's heart beating my hidden empire, ready to shatter their world, a silent vow to protect Beatrice's legacy, fueling every breath. The library, with its shelves laden with Thornton history, now has a mahogany table. Victor's stage for showing off wealth, leather portfolios shining embossed with our crestmine slimmer. A purposeful deception, Victor at the head opens with a chart, his voice a cold blade. His 38% share a towering peak, my 2% a faint ripple. Julian's smirk, Sophia's arched brow, their amusement a lash miles muttering their laughter. A bitter gust, I sit motionless, my satchel at my feet, its actions a hidden fire. Victor suggests amending Beatrice's will. Streamlining control ensures efficiency, he says, tapping his pen. The changes would solidify his grip, removing the protections Beatrice had woven my heart, lurching her trust in me a sacred root. I know each change, my mind racing to Caldwell's advice. Presentations start. Julian brags about his hedge fund's 20% returns and his Monaco condo being a strategic retreat. And Sophia describes her art purchases, including a $12 million Basquiat she bought, saying, "The Thornton name secured it." Victor nods questions and approves of their portfolios, which are bloated with flash and blind to Beatrice's ethos. The conversation shifts to seaside towers, and Sophia's sharp voice says, "The owner's renovations disrupt my mornings, Clara. You wouldn't understand. You don't own anything." Victor leans in. "We'll uncover this LLC. My contacts can pressure them permits audits, and his plan to intimidate me, their landlord, makes my heart race." I ask calmly, "What if the owner's acting in good faith?" Julian snorts, "Clara, stay at your coffee shop job." Their laughing tries to drown me like a frigid current, but my soul, like a river, rises unfazed. When it's my turn, the energy is low. Victor is checking his watch, and I stand and speak steadily. My consulting work grew modestly, 5% returns on small investments. Sophia whispers to Miles, who is uninterested. Aunt Evelyn interrupts, "Clara, dear, the Thornton name could open doors." Why struggle? Julian leans back and asks, "Are you still in that studio?" Clara. Her sympathy a rehearsed facade hurts. My hands shake beneath the table, but I smile. "I'm fine, thank you. The weight of my satchel anchors me, its secrets a drumbeat, and I excuse myself. I need air before lunch." The room laughs their mockery, a familiar wound. Victor clears his throat. "Clara, we're considering a stipend. The family supports its own. His charity offer is a public humiliation, twisting the knife." I collapse on the window seat in my room. Beatrice's garden is a silvered haven, and I hear her say, "Wealth builds, Clara. It doesn't boast." I open her letter, her script aflame. "Guard our heart." It reads, and my resolve hardens. I call Caldwell, saying, "Victor's rewriting the will, targeting the towers. I'm ready to reveal it tomorrow." his voice a steady root, responds, "Your LLCs are untouchable. I'll courier the full portfolio tonight." Relief washes over me. Add documents for a new trust, Beatrice's Heart Trust, to buy Willow Crest. He pauses. She'd be proud, Clara. And I hang up my spirit, a river carving deeper the summit's final day, my reckoning. Martha knocks with gentle eyes and says, "Miss Clara, you left early. I brought tea." Her warmth and a gentle breeze calm my raw heart. They see me as the orphan they pitied. I confess, never the woman I've become. She sits with her apron smoothing and says, "A package arrived," pointing to my desk. Caldwell's courier delivered my portfolio, which included valuations documents and the title of Seaside Towers. I spread them across my bed, with each page representing a stone in my fortress, my first duplex, which was purchased at 22 and is now worth triple. My commercial buildings anchors in rising districts. The towers, my $25 million gamble, now worth $30 million. And Beatrice's journal, with its teenage entries tracking my first $500 investment, lying open, her annotations guiding me still. Their attack is rekindled over dinner, with Victor toasting Thornton dominance. Aunt Lydia's syrupy voice saying, "Clara, a career shift could help. You're too young for that apartment life." And Sophia smirking, "Or marry rich Clara. It's easier." Their laughter, a cold wave, crashes over me, but I nod my satchel nearby. Its truth's a silent chant. I slip to the garden moonlight, painting Beatrice's roses. Emma finds me, her voice low, and she says, "They're probing the tower's owner. Victor's lawyer found the LLC's shell. They're planning a city audit." My pulse quickens. Their search for me becomes a tightening noose. "I'll handle it," I say, her nod a spark of trust. Once I'm back in my room, I go over Caldwell's files, my empire a shield, and the summit's third day will reveal me my spirit, a river breaking free, ready to wield against their stone. Their whispers, blind as a winter gale, call me the poor cousin, unaware of the empire I've woven, $60 million strong, hidden in the shadows of Caldwell's LLCs. As I enter the library, my river surges, ready to shatter their stone with Beatrice's legacy, a flame that no lie can extinguish. Willow Crest's morning whispers, courage through its ancient walls. My spirit a river swelling with purpose. My heart a drum forged in Beatrice's fire, its beat steady as I grip my satchel. Now a quiver of truths, poised to pierce the Thornton veil of greed. Victor's plan to sell this sacred mansion, unaware it's me, has carved a wound deeper than their decades of contempt. But my resolve, a soaring eagle, rises above their storm. The library is alive with Thornton's ambitions. Victor is at the mahogany table, with his leather portfolio open like a war map. He says, "Today we seal the mansion's sale," and his voice is like a cold axe as he adds, "Crestview's $48 million offer awaits our signatures." Pages detailing payouts are scattered throughout the folders. Victor's $18 million share is a towering oak, while my 2% is a mere sapling. Sophia's diamond bracelet sparkles as she flips through the pages. Julian's pen hovers, eager to sign. Emma is next to me, holding my hand under the table, her eyes a silent plea. Victor moves to Seaside Towers. "Our lawyers drafted a letter," he says. "Code reviews will nudge the owner to sell. 5 Thorntons as tenants give us leverage." His casual threat directed at me ignites a wildfire in my chest. I lean forward, speaking calmly. "What if the owner resists?" "Clara, you wouldn't know real estate from a rental lease." Lucas snorts. Their acrid laughter strengthens my determination. I get up, holding my satchel, and say, "Before we vote, I'd like to speak." Victor's eyes narrow, his watch gleaming. "Clara, we're on a schedule. Developers expect signatures by noon." I say, my suit a quiet defiance. "This won't take long," my voice a river breaking free. "For years you've seen me as the poor cousin. Your pity or mockery assumed my life was small, but assumptions are blind, and today I unveil the truth." I give my assistant my portfolio summary, her fingers shaking as she projects it, and my $60 million net worth glows on the screen, a thunderclap that silences the room. Sophia gasps, her tablet slips, Julian's pen freezes, Victor's face pales. Miles stammers, his voice cracking, and I smile. No mistake. While you chase status, I built an empire guided by Beatrice's wisdom. Aunt Evelyn's voice falters as I hand out my financial statements, which include pages describing 12 properties, 2 skyscrapers, and seaside towers. I nod. But your apartment, that old Subaru, she says. Choices, not limits. Beatrice taught me wealth grows in silence, not display. Victor furrows his brow and looks over the documents. How without our network? The room erupts in chaos. Lucas's glass shatters, Julian's face turns red, and Victor snaps. That purchase was $25 million. I meet his gaze and respond, $25 million legally earned over a decade, unlike your plan to bully the owner with audits. His incredulity, a raw wound, fuels me. Patience, research, undervalued properties. The principles you've forgotten. I place the title of Seaside Towers before Sophia, saying, You complained of renovations? Sophia, I ordered security upgrades and set guest policies. I'm your landlord. Your wealth doesn't change anything. The mansion vote follows our shares. My 38% holds. I set Beatrice's heart trust documents on the table. Not quite, I say. This morning I transferred my holdings to Beatrice's heart trust, which acquired Crestview Holdings, owning 30% of Thornton assets through proxies. My 38% voting power, which is now equal to Victor's, freezes the room. Emma's eyes widen and a quiet nod of pride follows. You can't, Victor whispers, his control eroding. You never noticed. I respond. Your blindness let me see clearly. I block the mansion's sale. Silence descends heavy as fallen snow. Julian slumps in defeat. Sophia looks on with concern. Victor's hands ball into fists in anger, and Emma's voice breaks the silence with a tremor. Beatrice would cheer Clara, she says. Willow Crest stays a Thornton heart. As for Seaside Towers, I won't evict, but rent discounts end. Fairness guides me, I say steadily as I gather my documents. Their eyes are a mixture of wonder and hatred, and Victor's assistant stammers. The developers? What now? They'll find other property. I say to her. Victor's jaw clenches, and his eyes are calculating. We'll negotiate, Clara, a new structure. His tone is now cautious, showing respect. I nod. Based on Beatrice's ideals, not greed. The atmosphere shifts as my cousins mumble and Julian asks, How did we miss this? I sit upright, my river slicing through their storm, Beatrice's glow a beacon, a faint echo. Lunch is chaotic. My cousins are asking me a lot of questions, and Sophia says softly, Clara, why conceal it? I look her in the eyes and say, To build without chains, your judgment would have bound me. Julian comes over, his smirk gone. We could partner. Your portfolio's impressive. His offer a shallow route, I deflect. We'll see. Aunt Lydia lingers, her touch hesitant. You're Beatrice reborn. Her flattery, a late bloom, stirs no warmth, and I slip to the garden where the roses under the sun are a haven. Beatrice's letter tucked in my pocket hums. You've guarded well. Tears fall not for victory, but for the orphans suffering over the years of being invisible. Martha finds me, her voice a hug. You've shaken them, Miss Clara. Beatrice is smiling. Her words, a sacred fire, anchor me. The summit's end looms my truth, a blade my spirit, a river ready to shape the Thornton dawn. Willow Crest breathes anew its rosewood banisters, humming with the pulse of Beatrice's legacies, my spirit. A river now unbound, flowing free through the stone of Victor's greed, and my cousin's blindness shattered by the truth of my $60 million empire. The summit's storm has passed my revelation, a sacred fire that burned away their lies, saving this mansion our heart and exposing me as the owner of Seaside Towers, a truth that shifted the Thornton earth. My satchel, once heavy with secrets, now rests light, its deed actions woven into a tapestry of triumph. But the scars of their scorn, the years of being unseen, linger like embers. As I stand in Beatrice's garden, planning Willow Crest's future under the golden weave of dawn, I promise to honor her vision, my wings soaring beyond their shadows, ready to carve a new path from the roots of our shared legacy. The aftermath of the summit reverberates throughout the Thornton clan, as Victor's once iron grip softens, his eyes grow wary, and he invites me to his private club, a mahogany-paneled fortress he once dared not bring me to. Clara, I misjudged you. He admits, his scotch swirling his words, a cautious olive branch hide a strategist's hunger. I sip water, my voice steady, and his nod, a shallow stream, reveals he still chases power, not purpose. I decline his offer, my river clear, choosing independence over his gilded chains. Emma, my steadfast ally, joins me for coffee. Her laughter a warm breeze. They're scrambling, Clara. Julian's calling you a dark horse, and Sophia's asking for investment tips. Her loyalty, a sacred root, grounds me amid their shifting tides. The Beatrice Thornton Foundation, a librarian who valued knowledge over gold, transforms Willow Crest into a beacon rather than condos. The mansion's library, which was once Victor's stage, now houses books on wealth building, and its rose garden serves as a classroom for community gardeners. Invited to the foundation's launch, my cousins arrive in their Teslas and Ferraris, their faces a mixture of awe and unease. Sophia says softly, "Clara, this is what Beatrice meant, isn't it?" Julian, humiliated, gives a contribution, saying, "For the foundation, Clara, you've shown us up." I nod. Wealth builds, not boasts. And her once sharp eyes soften, a sign of change. His offering is a tentative bridge, which I embrace, but trust takes time to establish, and their years of ridicule are a scar that is difficult to repair. Seaside Towers flourishes under my silent leadership with eco-friendly improvements, increasing its value by 15%, but I cut off my cousin's rent breaks, fairness my guide. Lucas Chasen meets me at a cafe, his yacht sold, his voice low. I followed Victor blindly. Clara, Beatrice told me years ago you were her heir. I should have listened. His therapy and his failing marriage reveal a man adrift. His apology a stone I set aside, not a burden I carry. Sophia visits her divorce from Miles looming, and she returns a photo she saved of me and my parents at Cape Cod. Its edges worn but whole, my heart a drum, softening, welcoming her current. The community rallies. Neighbors like the Hendersons, who once whispered sympathy, now volunteer. "We misread you," Clara, Mrs. Henderson says, her bread a warm offering. My empire grows. My firm launches a specialty estate planning for families, protecting legacies like Beatrice's. A Forbes feature names me a real estate visionary. Not for Victor's loss, but for the woman I've become, and I create the Beatrice Thornton Scholarship at Harvard, which funds students to preserve historic homes. The announcement elicits a letter from Aunt Evelyn that reads, "I regret our distance, Clara." The scholarship honors Beatrice. Her words a crack in the Thornton stone hint at reflection. My parents' memory carried in my mother's earrings walks with me, my father's voice a breeze. "You've made it yours, Clara." Emma, who is now a foundation board member, receives her own key. Her laughter fills Willow Crest, luring me to art galleries, hikes, and new rituals. My chosen family, Emma, Martha, and the Hendersons, shines brighter than blood, a constellation of love. Victor fades, his calls go unanswered, his influence a distant thunder. Julian rebuilds his therapy, a slow path. Sophia writes her freedom mirroring mine. Aunt Lydia's silence softens, a letter unsent but felt. Willow Crest breathes new traditions. Beatrice's ledgers on display. My furniture rearranged, my parents' books donated, and a few kept for memory. My foundation inspires others, my story, a shield for those undervalued. On bad days, I sit in the garden, Beatrice's roses, a gentle wind. Her voice, a sacred fire. You've guarded well. Grief, a quiet companion, flows beside my joy. My firm thrives, partnerships blooming, one Beatrice would have toasted with her favorite tea. I still drive my Subaru, a choice, not a chain. My apartment is a haven, not a limit. I read Beatrice's journal there, our old arguments still alive in its pages, and my heart asks, what legacy will you guard when shadows seek to bind your wings? A year after the summit, I stand in Beatrice's garden, with dawn's light sweeping through the oaks, and my spirit unbound like a river. The mansion, which was once almost lost, now pulses with purpose, its workshops empowering those my cousins ignored. The Thornton name, Once a crown of greed now carries Beatrice's heart, my wings soaring, ready to weave a future where wealth builds, not boasts. And my journey proves that truth shatters, lies chosen, family outshines blood, and legacy eternal as stars is yours to claim. Share your flame. Let it ignite another's.